Happy 4th of July, everybody. So I thought it'd be kind of nice to go ahead and do a quick issue, a quick solo shot in celebration of our Independence Day. So to me, when I think comics that represent freedom, I think Captain America. Also, one of my favorite characters in comics is the Punisher. So let's jump into a What If. What If Volume 2, number 51. What if the Punisher was Captain America? I'm going to kind of format this like I did with the previous What If that I did. I want to start out with what was. As with most What Ifs, this is an alternate take on the original Marvel continuity. This one goes back a ways. This story's inspiration came from Captain America Volume 1, number 212. The story was titled The Face of a Hero, Yours. So this hit the shelves May 10th, 1977. This is a classic Captain America issue written and penciled by Jack Kirby. So what happened in that issue? The evil Arnim Zola has Hitler's brain and plans to put it in a body with Steve Rogers' face. Luckily, Cap and a lady by the name of Donna Maria aim to escape Zola and his living castle. During this escape, Cap is blinded by an explosion, but is whisked away before the entire castle comes crashing down. Now, Cap stays blind until issue number 214, after avoiding a close gunshot from a villain called the Night Flyer, actually restored his sight somehow. I think it was said that it hit a nerve or jostled a nerve, so his sight finally came back. Now, what's interesting about these issues is that in the next issue, in 215, Roy Thomas bridges a gap for the next bit of creative team that's going to do a few issues, because Kirby's nearly 2-year run on this title comes to an end in issue 214. So that's a description of what was, what actually happened in the Marvel 616. Real quick before we get into the issue, let's talk about what is. So Captain America, Steve Rogers, was most notably portrayed by Chris Evans in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with his role meeting a happy ending in the final parts of Endgame. Seemed pretty happy to me anyway. The Shield was then claimed by Anthony Mackie, portraying Falcon, and the fourth Captain America film, Brave New World, is slated to be released in the summer of 2024. Now in the comics right now, a storyline just wrapped up titled Cold War, which starred both Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Sam Wilson, a new Falcon, and Nomad. Also, tomorrow, July 5th, Captain America number 750 is going to hit the shelves. As for the Punisher, currently, most people know John Bernthal portraying Frank Castle in the Marvel Netflix series, The Punisher. Great portrayal, in my opinion. I don't think there's anybody else that does a better job of getting Frank Castle across on the screen. Now, in the comics, things have been pretty divisive, okay? If you've been reading The Punisher or maybe staying on top of some of the news, one of the things that happened recently was the Punisher skull symbol came under fire. And last year, so Jason Aaron takes over the title in 2022 and starts writing a story that really involves some pretty controversial changes to the character. And in the end, things are definitely different from the character than when the Punisher was near his apex in the early 90s. So that is what is. Now, let's get into what if. What If 51 drops onto the shelves May 18th, 1993. The cover of this is fantastic. It's the Punisher skull with the Captain America mask over it. What a way to bring things in. Title of the story, What If the Punisher Had Become Captain America? Written by Simon Furman, which I know as the man behind Transformers Generation 2. To kind of give you a little bit of background, some of the high notes of his career, he wrote the first 10 issues of G.I. Joe Special Missions. So if you have any of those, you know Simon Furman wrote those. He did a long run on Alpha Flight starting at issue 109. I talked about Transformers Generation 2, which took place about 4 months after this comic hit the shelves. And it looks like he's going to write a few more what ifs after this as well. The penciler on this book is a man by the name of Paris Cullins. His first comic listed on Mike's Amazing World was from 1981 and is DC's Secrets of Haunted House, number 42, and a story titled Mystic Murder. And if you were reading 1986's Blue Beetle, you would have seen his work. He did a solid run on New Gods in 1989, penciling around 17 issues, and most of his career is spent at DC. However, he does kind of dabble in Marvel every once in a while, and in 1993, he's about to work on the Razor Line imprint with Clive Barker's Hyperkind. The inks on this book are by Frank Turner, lettered by Janice Chiang, and colored by Carlos Lopez. So let's get into this. What if the Punisher had become Captain America? Okay, so we are going to open this book up with what looks like Captain America leading the Avengers. Now, the Avengers at this time, according to this, are Beast, Vision, Iron Man, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, there's Wasp, and Captain America at the helm. So the Avengers are going into some type of facility here, and Captain America, who, by the way, the Watchers told us this is not the Captain America we know. Captain America is worried about superpowers in a gang war, a potent combination that very nearly brought the city to its knees. It ends now. Hammerhead runs full into Cap's shield. Ooh, Cap is letting loose on Hammerhead here. Hammerhead giving him a fight, but like Captain America picks him up, slams him into the ground on top of his head, and then "You must be punished, punished, punished," and just continues to punch him over and over. Yeah, as if you couldn't tell. This is most likely Frank Castle. So the Watcher tells us where the timelines have diverged. Captain America was blinded in issue 212, but he ended up fighting the Red Skull and living. But according to this timeline, Cap wasn't so lucky. Now you got to think, at the time that battle was going on, Punisher is in Nam. And when you start to draw the parallels between the Punisher and Captain America, you can see that, both fought in wars, both are highly skilled military men. There are a few things there where the two are similar, but clearly the Punisher has a different outlook on how villains should be dealt with. So Cap's still alive. I'm sorry. Did I say he died? Because he didn't die. He just got tragically hurt. I don't know if he's going to die, but he's definitely not going to pick up the shield again. He's begging Fury to find someone strong to wear the flag. So Fury is talking to some of the government higher-ups to try and find out who's going to fill Captain America's shoes, Steve Rogers' shoes, and they are suggesting Frank Castle, who a decorated war hero, and apparently he's training some commandos in upper New York State. So this sounds like it may be prior to his family getting killed at the park. The Fury does not like the idea of Castle being Captain America, but the decision's already been made, apparently. Oh, wow. And Frank is not going to be Captain America. Frank is saying he does not want to be Captain America. So yeah, they've approached him on the training field, and he says, no, I've got a family at home. I've done my time. I am not going to serve as Captain America. So they go to other people. They go to John Jameson, Robert Diamond, which that name doesn't ring a bell, but it says actor and martial artist, part of the group known as the Sons of the Tiger. They go to Doc Samson and Kyle Richmond, Nighthawk. Oh, they all accept. Interesting. So Jameson becomes the Man-Wolf. Diamond dies before the might of Count Nefaria as Captain America. Samson loses control in the midst of battle and civilian fatalities run high. And Richmond becomes the undead thrall of Baron Blood. Oh, okay. Now it does look like the park shooting happens. So some gang members, mobsters, whatever you want to call them, show up at the park and murder Frank's family. But because of that, the opportunity to become Captain America is what he decides to embrace. Vows to bring justice to the world that killed his family. Oh, big one-page splash here of Castle holding the Captain America mask and looking down with his hand on the shield and the costume. We're now in present day, and the rest of the Avengers are talking to Nick Fury about their concerns with what Frank did to Hammerhead. Fury's kind of defending him here, saying, yeah, he's a little rough around the edges, but he's getting the job done. Scarlet Witch says she's frightened of him. So downstairs, Frank is grabbing his Punisher threads, and he's heading out armed to the teeth with the skull on his chest. So this is the third entry into his war journal, which makes me think that, he's just recently decided to become the Punisher, and he's found Bruno Costa, the man behind the death of his family. Now remember, his family wasn't targeted, they were in the crossfire. But Punisher's decided that he's first. Ooh. So he's taken everybody out except for one guy who he threw a knife and got him in the back as he was running away. This guy's on the ground begging for his life, and the Punisher just comes up and steps on the hilt of the knife, pushing it further into the guy's back. Well, the government knows that Frank is out moonlighting as the Punisher, and they are not happy. Falcon confronts him and says, hey, there's rumors going around that you are the Punisher. Ooh-wee, Frank letting loose here. I used to believe in the flag. He's talking to Falcon. I used to believe in the flag and what it stood for. It's not me dragging it through the mud. It's the politicians who sent their youth to die in a stupid war, who sit back and let their cities rot in vice and corruption run by human vermin. Yeah, I used to believe. Now I just believe in me. Nice. Yeah, Frank's going full bore into the Punisher persona. He does not believe in being Captain America anymore. He has tracked down the brothers Costa. Frank is taking out people left and right, and all of a sudden, the shield comes flying through, breaking his gun. And it's Captain America. Now, I'm wondering if it's Steve underneath the mask. It looks like Steve. This has to stop, Castle. You have to be stopped. So the two begin to fight. Captain America hits Punisher right in the stomach with something, and he is doubled over, wondering what he got hit with. And Cap talking some sense into him and saying, I'm giving you back the uniform. The system's not perfect. The country's a mess, but that just means we have to be better than it, not succumb to it. Tomorrow's generation looks to Captain America for hope. If just one kid turns his back on crime, then it's all worth it. You must be Captain America. Frank's like, why don't you just do it yourself? And Cap's like, I said Captain America had to be a man, mortal, flesh and blood, and I am neither. And he shows him this arm, the cyborg arm. Captain America is a symbol of a man striving and achieving on his own human merits. No guns, no machines, just the man. And it looks like just then one of Costa's men opens fire and misses both Captain America and the Punisher, it looks like. Cap takes that guy out, turns around, and Castle is headed to go find Costa. He's got his gun right up to his eye, and he's like, why can't I pull the trigger? Blast his eyes, he's right. By taking on the mantle of Captain America, I took on a responsibility for countless other lives. Well, and he comes to a bit of a crisis there. Yeah, he's thinking if his family would be proud of him and how he's been acting. And he asks himself, am I doing it for them or am I doing it for me? And Cap gives him back his shield. Take it. It's yours. Oh, the Watcher stepping in here. Steve Rogers returns to fighting crime, but as the captain. In this reality, the Punisher is no more. Frank Castle is Captain America. There it is, folks. Happy 4th of July. I hope you've enjoyed this look into another reality. What if the Punisher had become Captain America?